Congratulations, Jackie. It's great news. Yay. Yeah. Okay. Any other happy news?
I have some sort of happy news.
Great.
The holiday stroll was canceled, but our Festival of Trees participants, their trees are displayed downtown, just north of the courthouse. So if you guys want to check that out, you should definitely give it a look see. It definitely looks really nice at night, so would recommend.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the work I know you did on that, Andrina. Good. Any more? Okay, well, Tom, we're ready for you to introduce our program today.
Hello, how are you guys today?
We're good.
So, good to see some faces and good to see some names. So, our special speaker today is Niko, and Niko is the HR director from JBS Swift Pork Company. He moved to Marshalltown just under 4 years ago in a promotional opportunity, and he moved from Grand Island, Nebraska, where he was working for one of its sister beef facilities. Niko obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in education from the illustrious University of Nebraska. I kind of choked on that, Niko, but so he got his Bachelor's of Science from University of Nebraska and his Master's of Science from University of Central Missouri. Niko has 11 nieces and nephews who hold the key to his heart. He is on the Marshalltown Community School District Board of Directors, the Unity Point Hospital Foundation Board of Directors, as well as the Marshalltown Education Partnership Board of Directors. He is an immediate past member of the Marshalltown Area Board of Directors as well. He is an active member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Kappa Lambda chapter based out of Des Moines, Iowa. Niko is a devout Huskers fan, win, lose, or draw. I should say just he's a fan because they lose all the time. Is that? He's a Los Angeles Lakers fan. So if you know Niko, you sense that he loves to laugh and smile as often as possible. He has been involved with many volunteer opportunities throughout the community and says he has a heart for the masses. So let's give a warm Rotarian welcome to our fellow Rotarian, Niko.
Tom, you sounded great saying illustrious University of Nebraska. Let me share that first and foremost.
I choked on that, man.
Okay, let's see. Kim, are you hosting? Can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me click that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, should work now.
Thank you. Hello, folks. Hello. I don't expect anybody to respond when I say hello, but still, it's polite. Hi. So, hi, folks. So I got with Tom and just out of having the conversation, thought it might be good to share a couple things just from my perspective with being more recent to Marshalltown versus a lot of other folks who have many years under their belt here. So just I don't have too much to share. I won't take too much of your time, and looks like we're going to have a short meeting. So you're welcome on that front. What I'm going to essentially be discussing is my matriculation through being welcomed here as part of the Marshalltown community. And, we talk about it a lot through, whether it's the Rotary Club of Marshalltown or the Chamber of Commerce or here at work at JBS or through the school district, how do we get people into Marshalltown? How do we retain our talent? How do we get our folks that work for us actively in the community to want to live here? And what numbers are anywhere from 24 to 27% or so of the folks that live in Marshalltown do not reside here. So I guess that was the intent when Tom and I were talking to discuss this. So just discuss a couple things that you see the title there. What I'll be going to be talking about is just going from an outsider, somebody new to Marshalltown with 3-4 years under my belt here, to becoming a part of the community, from my estimation. So a couple things. I mean, just the perspective that somebody has from being an outsider. I'll let you read through those, and I think if somebody can be empathetic, maybe those have ever had to move from one community to another, I think it's kind of familiar, if you will, to maybe have one or a few of these inclinations over here, or maybe you've heard that with talking to some of your co-workers, peers, family members, et cetera, and so forth. Uh, the pictures on the right have nothing to do with this slide. It's just one of my adorable nieces. Today is her birthday, and she was very difficult to say goodbye to when I left Nebraska just about 4 years ago. So she's 5 years old now. That's my baby.
Hey,
Now,
Niko, are you advancing the slide? Because we're still just seeing the first slide.
yes, I did advance.
I wonder if you might need to go to slideshow and then.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Oh, you were? Okay. Or you might need to reshare it as the slideshow.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Because we want to see your cute niece.
Yeah, she's adorable. You have to. You don't see her as a failure. Okay, let me see here. Let's see, is this regrouping?
We're seeing it as a presentation now. Yep, now we can see it.
Great. So there's the adorable little girl I was just telling you about. That's Annalena. So just like I said there, being not part of the in crowd, everything's unfamiliar and unknown. And as a result of that, you might feel unwanted. So being an outsider to Marshalltown or any other community, I mean, there's going to be inherent consequences. And those are maybe some of the things that some of our folks that live here or looking to reside here might say. Did it transition? Can you see the consequences of the outsider perspective?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you might hear. This community is trash. The schools aren't any good. People aren't welcoming and inviting. There's nothing to do. That's inherently going to be a lot of the negativity or perspectives that somebody might have if they feel unwelcome, unknown, unfamiliar with their new environment. So what we got to do is create an environment, which I think that we do a pretty good job of, where we can get to a point of an outsider to, have these sorts of things under their belt. So these are just a couple random photos from either people from work. I'd say 99% of the photos that you'll see here are pre-COVID. So as you can see earlier, I got my facial covering on and I live with it. But just a couple examples of the way I personally have transitioned into becoming a part of the Marshalltown community. And fortunately for JBS, that was the catalyst that made my acceptance and my welcoming happen. So I would consider myself an insider. Maybe not these exact words, but I feel welcome. I know a lot of folks that are on this call. I'm familiar with them. I'm known, and a lot of the folks that are on this call, I would say, are definitely insiders, and they are definitely resourceful, helpful, and I know I definitely seek many of them out for assistance and guidance, direction. Many of you even this week yet. So you can see the major perspective and difference in perspective from somebody who is an insider versus somebody is an outsider. So someone who's more familiar versus not familiar with the community and what we have to offer. Let's see. Where are we at here? Stopped on me. Okay, so again, some of the things that we do here through JBS and the way I've been able to get involved, whether that's through the American Legion or through Oktoberfest or doing different types of donations and opportunities where we can show our support and become an active member of the community. So as you see there down the middle, we had our Rakhine Burmese soccer championship competition last year, and some of our employees won the championship. So to be able to be there and be a support, I know that's something extra going above and beyond that I'll talk about that can be extremely beneficial to the community and, you know, me in particular for people that I work with at JBS.
So Niko, it went back, I'm sorry, it went back to your original presentation. So we're not seeing actually, if you scroll down, we're seeing consequences of the outsider perspective. So maybe even if you scroll down on that document, we'll be able to see the slide you're looking for. Don't know.
Wow, I have not had this.
Yeah, that worked.
Okay, I can just try this.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's see. So I've shown some of these photos here, some of the things that we've been involved with, and I've been able to be fortunate enough and blessed with it, getting involved with around the community and through JBS and the things that we do with the community as well. So they're kind of random things when we did a lot of the feedings after the derecho, employee appreciations. We actually canceled this trunk or treat drive that we did here due to coronavirus concerns. The American Legion, you know, honoring us with a bench memorizing in our memorializing in JBS's name. It's rewarding, it's inviting, it's welcoming to be able to be involved with these sorts of things with the community, and the community not only extending a hand, a welcoming, but also a warm embrace as well. So what can we do? What can I do? So the first note there is shame on you, Niko. And that's something that I was talking, I was self-evaluated, and that I haven't done my part with going out and meeting a lot of the neighbors in my community and within my actual residence and dwelling, you know, so shame on me. Why would I not be a resource for them and maybe extend some sort of invite or allow myself to be a resource, especially being on some of the board of directorship jobs, positions that I'm in. I should be willing and wanting to be a resource for them. But that's something simple and easy that I think most of us can do, have done, and it is a nice welcoming gesture that we do. The non-judgment and the note that I wrote there is, here's my shirt, that if you're from around Iowa, you know that your neighbor's willing to take the shirt off her or his back to help you out if you're in need. So that's been the experience that I've had, and I'm grateful for it. And, you know, a fellow Marshalltonian or Iowan will take their shirt off their back and roll their sleeves up and help with anything necessary. But like I always say, unless they find out you're a Husker fan, and then all bets are off when that comes into play. I don't know why they hate us, but it's adorable to me. Some of the other things that we've gotten involved with or been recognized for, whether that's through the state MICA Association or the safety councils through Iowa and Illinois, the school district, the Chamber of Commerce, being able to be actively engaged and get out there and put our name out there for the community and the company has been something that we're really thankful for, and is fortunate to be involved with that. So last couple pieces is, the unexpected. So doing something above and beyond maybe to try to help with that engagement, that welcoming environment. These are some of the things that I will offer up and talk about when I'm trying to recruit people to Marshalltown or Central Iowa. And if you're familiar with some of these here, they're out here. And, I think we all know that Marshalltown, being as small of a community is, and knowing how rich and how diverse the community is, I think that those are huge selling points that we can definitely use to our advantage when we are trying to retain and recruit talent and folks to come in and join our community. Mexican food, I'll talk about that, but tacos Tarasco over by midnight by the Impala Ballroom. They have a salsa bar. There's like a dozen different kinds of salsas. Oh my goodness. Try it. If you haven't, you got to do it. Some other sponsorships and things that we've done. And I guess the last point that I want to bring up, that's something that Tom and I talked about, is everyone likes Mexican food, right? Of course, right? It says, well, duh. So of course, everybody likes Mexican food. So example that I give to people that's really enlightening, it kind of meshes understanding and empathy together. That if you go to a authentic Mexican restaurant, and if you have a waiter or waitress that appears to be of Latin, Latino, Latina background, you know, and maybe they even have an accent, right? Maybe English is not their first tongue. If if you come in and let's say you're, a middle-aged white person, that Latino, Latina person is not going to expect Tom, right? Right, Tom, like we were talking, they're not going to expect Tom to speak Spanish in the least bit. So with that individual serving you, knowing that English is their second language, they're going to be talking to you all in English and trying to ensure that you all have a good understanding and get you exactly what you need. Well, Tom, being a white American male whose native tongue is English, if Tom were to say something as simple as agua, por favor, and most of us know that that means water, please, or after they take your order, you were to say gracias, we know that means thanks you. That waiter, that waitress does not expect Tom to be able to say or comprehend or understand anything of the Spanish language. So knowing that Tom is going outside of his comfort zone and willing to make himself vulnerable and maybe not have the best accent, but take that step forward and go above and beyond and say a word that you know that waitress or that waiter is going to be familiar with, that waiter or waitress is going to feel welcome. They're going to breathe a sigh of relief. They're going to feel as if they're embraced, welcome. There's no judgment there. And I told Tom that you're going to be treated like royalty. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to get the best service possible because that waitress, that waiter knows that you're going above and beyond and you're trying to establish that connection and makes them feel welcome. So I guess that's the intent there in trying to get folks to understand that empathy and that understanding of creating that welcome environment to help people matriculate and be retained within our community. I think that we are very fortunate, and I tell people this all the time, that we're very spoiled to be able to have the folks part of this community that we do, because not a lot of communities do have the partnership, the cooperation, the communication amongst the education sector, the private sector, the business sector, the religious denomination sectors, and to have all that here in one smorgasbord, one nice collective pot is something that we are fortunate to have. And I think that we can do a better job of putting that out on display for people to see. When they see it, hopefully they'll experience it. And I think that is what's going to be the transition selling point of making somebody an outsider become an insider. But that's all I got, folks.
Well, thank you for your thoughts, Niko. I'm wondering if there are questions that anybody has.
Niko, this is Betty Bowler. What was your biggest surprise, I guess, about Marshalltown when you arrived here?
That how many people knew each other. Marshalltown is one of the smaller communities that I've ever lived in, and I've never seen a community like this work so well with each other. And, I think I wouldn't be surprised, and I can almost guarantee that Chief Tupper has Dr. Schuette's cell phone number, and the mayor has their cell phone numbers and the like, for instance. So to know that there's those ties and those connections across the board, and that genuine intent of cooperation and partnership, I mean, it's remarkable.
Thank you.
I've got one. As long as we're talking about the mayor, consider a run for that next time.
No. Thank you.
Niko, tell us, I think Betty's question was a great one. Tell us about your biggest surprise. I don't want to turn this negative, but what was was there a disappointment? And is there something we as a community need to look at and try to improve on? And maybe you've already seen that change. Maybe you've already seen the disappointment and it's changed. But what can we work on as a community, do you think? In your opinion, we won't hold it against you.
Good question. I think I'll echo some of the things that we hear time and again. Want that Target, right? We want that Target superstore here in town, and you know, it's business, it's numbers, so totally understand where they're going to market, how they're going to market, et cetera, and so forth. You know, housing opportunities, I know it's something that we can always improve on, and I know that there's been a lot of advancements. I know JBS is working on some advancements and opportunities there too. You know, me being where I'm at with JBS, you know, we'll get anywhere from 10 to 30 new people every single week, and many of them don't live in Marshalltown, and many of them would prefer to live in Marshalltown, but they just don't have the resources here, or I'd say more so the supply available to make that happen for them. But I'm a big Target fan. That's what I want. I'm a homebody, so I got streaming services, so I'm good.
Niko, Sue Martin has a question.
Yes.
Yes, Niko, I've got a couple things on my mind. I'd like to know how your business has been impacted by the pandemic as far as the number of hogs you're processing each day and where those hogs are going. And then I'd also like to know something about the current racial and ethnic membership or composition of your workforce.
Yeah, good questions. Good questions. I'll go into the second part of your question there first. In regards to the racial composition, I don't have a tracking mechanism, but I have generalizations. So I've got about 2,400 employees is what I have total. About last numbers I saw, about 49% were Latino, Latina. So Spanish speaking Hispanic folks, right? There's about 25% that are Burmese. We've got about 12 to 14% that are African, that come from Africa. And then the remaining 12% would be white, Native American, and African American. So divided up pretty evenly there. Now, in regards to the pandemic, we said this is going to be a short meeting, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. First, if anybody is interested in wanting to come out and see what we've done concerning our coronavirus mitigation efforts, that is an open invitation. Feel free to reach out to me. We do community tours with people. We've invited several folks from other businesses, competitors, if you will, to come out and see it, because the more things that we can all do to keep each other safe is going to be better for everybody overall, right? But very early on, we put our coronavirus mitigation efforts, we go toe to toe with anybody. I think it's been well established, and our people know that it is very safe to be here at the facility. Many of our employees say that they feel safer here than where they do anywhere else. You know, I mean, you see it. You go places and maybe people aren't hand sanitizing and not a lot of physical barriers. You know, I'm in my office by myself, but I still got this bad boy on because that's the expectation. Unless I'm drinking or eating something, and I have barriers around me, this is how we live out here. And some of you have seen it and are shaking your heads, and we put our mitigation efforts up against anybody, and we're doing a pretty good job. In regards to the hogs that we produce, you know, on an amazing day, we could get through about 21,000, just under about 20,800 or so hogs every single day. At the height, at the peak of the scare of the pandemic, we had probably 900 people that were just calling in, missing, precautionary, freaking out, not knowing what to do. Very early on in April when it was barely coming over here to the States, and Iowa got our first couple cases, so it was extremely difficult for a time. So with a nearly 21,000 head capacity, we were, at 10,000, and that puts everybody in a bad spot. The farmers, the producers, you name it. So, we're back at it again. We're doing great. We still need some help, still are a little behind versus what we experienced very early on in, spring, summer time. But we're pushing forward. Good question, Sue.
Thank you.
Niko, I would like to ask, the list or the photos that you showed us of the ways you were involved in the community is astounding to me. I think it's amazing. And I'm thinking about, are there other people who are like you that haven't yet gotten involved? What would you say are the barriers that are keeping them from making that first step?
Ooh. Is that on a, well, there's going to be a difference between on a personal level, somebody that just has that heart, that passion, versus on the professionalism and them maybe being forced to do so per their other duties as assigned with their role. So a lot of it, Mary, I would say if it's something more personally, I think probably even both now that I think about it. If folks are not aware of the opportunities that are out there, then they can't do anything. So for instance, House of Compassion, they got a hold of us yesterday. They almost ran out of all the pork that they need to donate to people in need. So if they don't open their mouths and tell us, we can tell them, hey, we actually have some corned beef, we have some bacon, we have some frozen chicken hindquarters that we're willing to give out besides pork. Let's make that happen. We're making that donation to them today. We've been dealing a lot with the Iowa Valley Continuing Education, where we offer free scholarships for any of our employees that want to either, if they don't have their high school equivalency diploma, we'll pay scholarships to allow them to do so. In learning English as a second language, or maybe if they want to pursue their citizenship. There's a scholarship that we have where our employees can go and take those courses for free. Well, Iowa Valley ran out of funding. So what they did is they communicated with us and said that they were nearly out of funding, came and did a presentation with us, and we doubled the amount that we typically gave to them for the academic year to ensure that support, that partnership continue to do so. So, closed mouths don't get fed, right? But a lot of it is us. We got the pot of stew, so we need to be feeding that to people. So if we've got some opportunities for people to get involved or to do some volunteerism, whatever that might be, we also need to be out in front of there and communicating the masses on opportunities that they do have available to themselves.
So it sounds like what you're saying is communication is really important. We need to keep your company and others aware of ways they could be involved in the community. Are there other things that would serve as a barrier or a support for an individual on a personal level to take that first step and make the phone call and say, I can volunteer, or I can help, or I could be involved?
Having a connection. I think having a connection is what's critical, I would say. It's very difficult for somebody to want to just jump into like a volunteer opportunity,
right,
and not know anybody at all whatsoever, right? In the down times and being able to chat with a peer, what have you. So if I know that Karn has an opportunity for volunteerism, but I know Karn through another, community organization or work function or what have you, I'm going to be much more apt to do something along with Karn because she's that conduit. She's that catalyst there that is able to open that up and make that happen.
So basically, we just need to build individual relationships at every opportunity we have, and then and be inviting.
Yeah, Mary, but it doesn't need to be, we're best friends and I'll die for you.
Oh, right.
I got, if I recognize Mary and I know that we were on this Rotary Club of Marshalltown, and if I see you, if it's a warm embrace, a hello, greeting, even that small connection or, established rapport could suffice with getting me or anybody else to become an insider.
Niko, I have to give a huge shout out to you and Todd, the change that we have experienced from a community's perspective since the two of you have taken on leadership has been nothing short of extraordinary. Yeah. I remember when I first took my position at the Martha Allen Kai Foundation and trying to get JBS involved in the community and to be able to support this community and be a partner in the community was almost impossible. And the change has been just so healthy for our community. And just a quick example of such is shortly after the tornado, the Community Foundation, we had established the Rebuild Marshalltown Fund. And JBS was one of the first ones to step forward and give a considerable donation. That, Niko, just would not have happened in years ago. And so I hope you and that you can relay this message to Todd as a community, how much we appreciate the support you've given to the community. And in return, the community wants to do the same with JBS.
It's beautiful.
Mayor Greer has his hand up.
I did, and I was going to be along. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, it was going to be along the same lines. I go to quarterly meetings to meet with JBS since it's our largest employer often. And I'd love to have Niko, because I know he knows this, tell about just how many millions of dollars JBS is putting into our infrastructure, into making our air cleaner, making our water discharge cleaner. Because I know, and I know the city engineer and city administrator know, but maybe some of you don't know just how much they are doing in that effort.
Yeah, well I appreciate the commentary and the feedback, folks. And I saw some people nodding their head, and that tells me that we're on the right track. And I'm a people person, so I'm just doing my job, and I enjoy doing it. But I know Todd is a Marshalltown boy, and he's the general manager, so he grew up from here. This is home for him, so it makes sense and it's natural for him. So all the kudos go to him. He's boss. If he says no, it doesn't happen. So there's that. In regards to what the mayor was talking about, is we created a new wastewater treatment facility. It was over $8 million project that is going to be providing, cleaner, safer, more quality water being taken back into the city. That's something that we opened up spring of 2019. Some we're proud of, but just going a step further, we just opened up a brand new cafeteria, which allows for individually, socially distanced eating areas with plexiglass barriers every which way. $1.8 million endeavor. And why? Our employees needed it. We need to ensure their safety. If they're not going to wear masks, we need those physical barriers, and we need to socially distance. So that's something that we just opened up last month. We're utilizing it right now, giving everybody free Thanksgiving meals, and they're taking advantage of it, and they love it.
Do we have any additional questions?
I would just really echo what Karn and Joel said as it relates to the tremendous relationship, school business partnership that Marshalltown Schools has with JBS. And to Niko's point, having Todd be a graduate of the Marshalltown Schools, I think, versus outsiders in the past, leading that company has made a huge difference. But Niko is being way too modest about his role in that as well, because Niko's been one of our top volunteers and champions, and both of them get how important it is to promote the importance of a high quality education with their workers who are our parents, for the future success of their kids and our community, quite honestly, because they are our future as it relates to continuing to fill the pipeline of workers, and they also are our future leadership for our community as well. So thank you, Niko.
Thanks, Doctor. All right, let's give everybody 5 minutes back of their lunch.
Well, thank you very much, Niko. We really appreciated your comments, and we're glad to have you as a Rotarian. Next week, our program will be Jude Rawlins, who, excuse me here. Jude will be talking about making a movie in Marshalltown. So that'll be very interesting. We hope all of you have a wonderful and restful Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. If you all join me now in reciting the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We're now adjourned.
Hey, Mary, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I'll just text you if I hear something from Jackie, but
Okay.
we probably won't plan on it.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.